The PS4 Tournament's Open Series has been full of fantastic finishes, killer combos, and a friendship or two.
I would not trust his ability to cook anything.
We've seen promising new players and household names continue to dominate.
Oh my, you animal. Oh dear! Oh.
Do not miss a single moment of the PS4 Tournament's Open Series monthly finals.
PlayStation.
Welcome everyone to the MK11 Open Series PS4 Tournaments Week 1 for December, where I am Mustard, and you will already have noticed, no doubt, I'm not joined by the other guy that looks like me. This time, Ebonic. How's it going, man?
Hey, it's going pretty well. At the very least, I've got the hair going, just like you guys do, so I think that'll at least be normal for everybody else. But yeah, no, I mean, it's I am not your brother. I'm not normally here, but I'm very, very glad to be here, though, for MK11. You guys are doing this week after week, month after month, and the pinnacle of consistency, honestly. It's super sick.
No, we're happy to be involved in it, and for those of you watching that might be a little bit more unaware, the Open Series is just a competitive series. Open entry, free to enter, takes place every single week for not only Mortal Kombat 11, but a ton of different games and a bunch of other fighting games, which is where Ebonic here normally comes from. But, you know, as life has its funny ways, unfortunately, Ketchup became unavailable incredibly last minute, so I do want to thank Ebonic very much on the behalf of many of us for being so ready at the last minute to make sure that the show must go on, and does go on indeed, as we have the North American side of today's Open Series to go. This is week 1 of December, where customs in Mortal Kombat 11, you know, this has been the biggest change to the game. The creativity is through the roof, and surprisingly to no one, we do have a lot of the same kind of faces. As we look at the bracket for today, we can see what top 8 players have made the cut, and a lot of familiar faces, as we'll be starting off with Ice Scorpion taking on Adam the Grey. Illuminati returns after an amazing performance quite recently against Too Easy. Breaking versus Mighty Unjust, and Biohazard versus Titanium Tigers. So to be completely honest, this is a very much tried and true, as expected, 8-man bracket. Ice Scorpion, Illuminati, Too Easy, Breaking, Unjust, Biohazard, these players that are here week after week. I mean, you've already used the word, right? Consistency. These players that just do not stop making the stream every single week. Titanium Tigers is a new face to the Open Series, but a player that is no stranger to competitive NetherRealm games, particularly in the online environment. He's normally quite the menace deep in these online brackets, and I'm not surprised to see him make his debut today, even as we go into our 7th month of Open Series. But as that really is the talking point of the day, let's talk a little bit about Open Series, because Open Series has been, I would say, a bit of a saving grace in these times for the FGC, where offline events aren't quite as we would expect them to be by now, and you know, especially for something like Mortal Kombat, where online tournaments are very much the tried and true. We've seen these a lot. From your experience, Ebonic, from the games that you are kind of more familiar with, how has the Open Series been for those?
Yeah, so originally it started out as one of those things where most people didn't want to be doing online events, because everybody misses offline, obviously, just like you mentioned. But after a little bit, everything became super consistent. Everybody was running into PS4 Open Series, the best players within games that I'm normally commentating, right? Like, you guys, if you watched the Open Series previously, you may have seen me on Soul Calibur or BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle. Originally, it started out as maybe not like our best players within EU or America were playing in it, but then eventually everybody was like, "Oh, we're watching this. This is sick. We're jumping into it and things like that." And it's not just the level of competition that has been rising, but like their want for the prizes that are available here in the Open Series has been pretty good. Everybody is able to make something not just during the monthly finals, but week after week, right? Especially here in MK, where you guys don't just get the weekly prizes of the monetary value, right? I believe you guys get time crystals and stuff like that, so that's super sick to me. Just getting that in-game stuff.
You would be surprised how much that I would imagine has made a difference to players as well, because especially in the MK scene, a lot of us are kind of just massive nerds for MK at heart. So it's like, oh, I can buy these cosmetics now. That's pretty cool. But no, it's funny you should say that about how at the start of the Open Series, maybe not as many of the top players entered, and then over time, as the awareness of it raises, and it's like, hang on, you're playing for money, like online, right? And as that goes up, even for MK, it was the same. Even though we are fortunate to have the weekly broadcasts as well as the monthly finals, especially for the Mortal Kombat community, where online tournaments have been such a standard, and that is normal for a lot of the community. Even now, though, now we're going into the 7th month of weekly money. By now, we are getting some of the absolute very best players around, and we'll see that throughout today's bracket. But to start things off today, we are going straight into our first match of Ice Scorpion versus Adam the Grey. Adam the Grey is a player that we haven't seen before on the Open Series, at least to my knowledge. I could be wrong, but I'd like to think that I'm not. And Ice Scorpion, who is really the most consistent player in this version of the game, in terms of MK11 Ultimate, where custom variations are now the normal, so you get a lot of creativity over how you play your characters and what exactly that means. Ice Scorpion has seized that with both hands and has won multiple tournaments in the Open Series since we went to this big change version of the game. And it's still relatively new, right? In the FGC, in the grand scheme of things, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, when something is just out, that's brand new. But in the whole scheme of the game, that's nothing.
Yeah, so it's basically my Ice Scorpion and the Mighty Unjust being the two most prominent players within the Open Series, from my knowledge, right? I've only been able to catch so many of them, but every time I watch it, it's always these two names, whether they be winners finals, grand finals, etc. It kind of never changes. There are some people here or there trying to challenge the throne, but if I don't see an Ice Scorpion or the Mighty Unjust, it always seems a bit odd to me.
No, it's definitely something that, especially this many months in, one of the two is going to make top 8 regardless, and more often than not at the moment it has been them both. And Ice Scorpion has been the most successful recently. I feel like the customs patch has really helped them a lot. As we go into the Sonya Blade now, this is actually something that I am very excited to see, because Ice Scorpion has mainly been playing the Jackie and the Cetrion, but Sonya is one of the characters that Ice Scorpion has played a lot over time, but hasn't really used for months at a time, right? Has had a long while of not playing Sonya, but now customs gives her a few more options, and that's nice. But Adam the Grey with the new Cybot, orange sickle, okay, rocking the new skin, I like that.
Yeah, so it's funny too, because the variation for that Sonya is no anti-air, please, and I'm pretty sure Noob Saibot has one of the stronger anti-air sets in the game. So
he's definitely one of those characters that, okay, that's Fatal Blow. He's definitely one of those characters that is fundamentally built for just a lot of what you would expect is good. He's got that good built-in anti-air. He's got decent damage. He's just very reliable in a lot of ways. But there's that wake-up punish, that instant roll. Adam the Grey not messing around.
Yeah, smart use of that defensive bar to get up the wake-up roll, take that round, regardless of that fatal blow. Changing the tide in health didn't really matter, and already first round, just trying to get past this Sonya zoning right here. You were talking about the different variation sets. It's brought back characters that I feel like not a lot of people ended up playing before, because you can be any variation technically, right? Before it was just a few, but the crushing blow on that, okay.
Oh, no, there's that jumping kick. But no, the variations really have been the most important thing in the game right now. And it's completely changed how a lot of the characters can work in terms of viability and options. But there's that check, that fast mid. Now, this is very kind of tried and true variation we're seeing from the Noob Saibot here. Adam the Grey that has that fatal blow and the throw. Now, that fatal blow is definitely going to be threatening. Ooh, just goes for it as a meaty. I like that. Noob Saibot's fatal blow, tracking. What a win.
Yeah, I was trying to duck under all those, but used that extra bar to be able to make sure that no ducks were allowed on the projectiles there. Becomes a high, then a mid.
Yeah, it's really important, and that's incredibly common in Mortal Kombat as well, right? Where the normal version will be high, but the amplified version will be a mid instead. It's been that way for a very long time, but it's strong, especially in a game like this when the bar comes back by itself. But there it is, that extra jump kick. Doesn't look as kind of flashy at first, but that is one of those equipped moves Sonya gets. Turns her jump kick, or gives her, in addition to the jump kicks, that double hitting jump kick that works as a punch. Really good for that priority and combo potential. But now Ice Scorpion, complete control right here, but Adam the Grey is pixels away from getting that fatal blow, which he now has. it make a difference, I wonder, though? Noob Saibot, no! Gets clipped, not blocking the low in the string, and Ice Scorpion has to fight for it. Not a supremely dominant game, number one, but definitely gets the job done in the end. That Sonya pick really making a lot of work right now.
Yeah, so Ice Scorpion has actually been streaming the Sonya as of recent. It hasn't been... I think it's been since the most recent patch of allowing any variation being allowed in tournament play. I've seen a lot of this Sonya over any of the other characters on Ice Scorpion stream. I'm not 100% sure how often they stream, but this is one of the things where this character has been a lot more prominent for them so far. So I wouldn't be surprised to continue seeing this level of strength throughout the rest of today. What I'm really surprised about is the one thing that he's most afraid of, getting anti-aired, was not really like ending up being a big deal. I feel like if we're gonna see a change in things for Adam the Grey, it's probably gonna be stopping that extra jump kick, the new variation stuff that you're talking about, new equipable moves, right?
It makes a big difference, especially for a character like Sonya, because she has a really high damage output if she could confirm a hit. And I mean, it's the same thing for most fighting games, right? Confirming off of jumping attacks tends to give you a little bit extra time, does a bit more damage. And considering that extra jump kick, you know, turns... Because jumping attacks in MK11 are very strong. Jumping kicks have a ton of priority. You can get a lot of damage off of them because a lot of characters can get quite a juicy combo or a good setup or whatever it might be. But there it is, air marching orders. That's what you're looking at right there. It turns a jump kick into a double hitting jump kick with the priority of jump kicks, but you can do standing buttons off of them as opposed to knocking them away. Which for someone like Sonya is going to give a tremendous amount of damage. But if you are trying to jump around, then that's where anti-airs will be a bit more dangerous. However, speaking of anti-airs, and crushing blows, Noob Saibot, he has a lot of anti-air buttons that a lot of characters would kill to have. So I do wonder, that being one of them right there, that down 4, little crouching back kick. We're not really seeing it used as much yet. I feel like Ice Scorpion's not really making himself too at risk. Kind of really playing for that neutral control. Sonya, normally known for being quite a mix-up heavy character, but in this game, not particularly. She does have the built-in mix-up, but it's mainly about that neutral control, that projectile. Such fast startup and travel time. Oh, there it is again, just whiff punish.
That projectile was absolutely the name of the game for that round right there. I mean, there was, a couple of those jump-ins that ended up making it happen, a couple of mix-ups on the jumps to make it so anti-airs were difficult, but that projectile just seems so difficult to deal with throughout the entire time. Adam the Grey probably trying to switch it up, but okay. There's the breaker, trying to catch him on the whiff. Unfortunately, no dice. Yeah, still back on the defensive is Adam the Grey. Ice Scorpion pushing forward, using the Amplify to catch him, possibly jumping out.
That's definitely what you're looking for when you cancel that. Never mind. Launching teleport. Okay, Adam the Grey. Now, he's got the launching portals, but hasn't gone for optimal damage, but just trying anything, right? As long as it's higher damage than you'd normally get, it should be fine. There's a reset. Oh, okay, Ice Scorpion. Seeing he's a little bit starved for the resources. Tries to go for a cheeky reset.
Yeah, pretty much no defensive or offensive bar right now. He does have the fatal blow, so I mean, a death is pretty much on deck, and that should do it!
I was just about to say, no resources, but one good opening and a jump kick. The double hitting jump kick, no less, what we were literally just talking about. It ends up being the one to steal the deal. Ice Scorpion, dominant force, 2-0 in the lead now. Is that a fatality? Or is that friendship? That's got to be friendship. Oh, no, no, it's definitely not a friendship. The helicopter that somehow got indoors.
It's if you play through the story mode, that area is just below the arena. So if you think about it, the helicopter is right up there in the arena. So maybe
I think she threw him higher up than we thought. There was a lot more going on there than we gave her credit for. But Ice Scorpion, I mean, it really is fitting that you should say that about Ice Scorpion putting so much time into the Sonya recently, because that's kind of what customs have allowed players to do, where a lot of players in the MK scene, especially in North America, they will have a main character and they'll have like their favorite picks, but a lot of players will find themselves going between quite a team in North America where they have a bunch, kind of 3, 4 sometimes characters they'll pick between. And because customs has let you really optimize the exact ways you want to play, a lot of these players that have played a lot of characters over time, they've played a lot of different teams and whatnot, have now had the ability to go back to those characters and go, right, well, why do I play this character and what do I do with them? And in this case, this is basically the kind of Sonya that Ice Scorpion wants to play. It's very jump heavy because it does have that double hitting jump kick. You have the charge of the energy ring, which is kind of the staple, I would argue the most important Sonya ability, because it gives her a massive damage extensions and generally makes her neutral a lot more of a pain. And then the counters, which we haven't seen yet, but why not, right? You've got a slot to use, may as well make the most of it. And she's not a character with an amazingly fast confirmable mid, so counters can help out. And that's really what Customs has helped the game with, in my opinion. And Noob Saibot, you can say a lot of the same, but right now Adam the Grey down a 2-game deficit in this first of 3 of the day. Will he be able to bring it back?
Luckily, he's already, gotten a lot of that meter usage from Ice Scorpion so far. So despite the fact that he's lost that health at the very beginning, now he can push forward as much as possible, and he's doing exactly that. He's getting under there, but they amplify for the crushing blow. Huge damage to even up that life total again.
Adam the Grey really controlling this neutral for like the first time in the set. He has a life lead. Can he take the round on this? Does not drop. No, he does drop. Oh no, no, don't do it. Don't do it.
Oh,
no.
Yeah, you're right. At first he had all of that ability to control the neutral because he had forced the usage of all that bar, but one jump in is going to make it so that now he's got to worry about the chip, but there it is. He caught him trying to shoot a fireball of his own.
Dare I say, I think the set might be over. I don't know how you bring back from a round like that. Adam the Grey had complete control, but a simple combo drop led into disaster as Ice Scorpion just got a clean jump in. And I don't know, I feel like if Adam didn't seal that round, we might already be done. Unless he can really keep things together. There we go, that's not a bad way. No bar, but still a decent chunk of damage. Oh no. Oh, in the corner.
Because the roll, yeah, jumps back into the corner. There's the cancel. Gonna get full damage with the breakaway. Okay.
Oh no, this isn't good. This isn't good. There's no breakaway, and Ice Scorpion has a bar. Don't guess wrong. No! He was pressing, and it is over. If he doesn't drop this combo, no way Ice Scorpion could do that in his sleep. And he won't have to, as he wins 3-0 in a dominant sweep over Adam the Grey, unfortunately. But it's still going to be in the tournament. Losers bracket does exist, so he's still alive, but Ice Scorpion reminding us all why he is the most dominant player in MK11 Ultimate for Open Series. And it feels so weird to say that, because the Mighty Unjust, I know you said you haven't watched all the Open Series events, because we've been doing these every single week for almost 7 months, so you might not be able to watch a 10-hour show that consistently. I work them and I can barely keep up. But the fact that the Mighty Unjust as a player who we will be seeing a bit later on in this bracket had been so dominant, had been so unstoppable for so long, but since MK11 Ultimate, it has been the Ice Scorpion show. That really has been where we're at right now in the Open Series, and proving that it's more than just because of the Jackie and because of the Cetrion, because those characters, they have got incredible new variations that are possible that weren't before, but making it work with other characters, right? The Sonya we've seen before, and that's just one of potentially many we could see throughout today's tournament. So GG's to both Ice Scorpion and Adam the Grey. But that is it for the first match of the day. We are moving swiftly into our second, which is going to be Illuminati versus Too Easy in another match of, and I'm going to get tired of saying this because it's literally the same thing every week because these players are so damn consistent, but very regular show to the Open Series. Illuminati has made quite a splash last week using the Buzzsaw move that Kung Lao has, thanks to Custom, in a kind of rolling on topic. Very strong move indeed. We saw Derpy actually, in fact, earlier today in Europe, Derpy used this exact kind of move, the Buzzsaw of Kung Lao, to win Europe earlier on in dominant fashion, barely dropping a game all day. And Too Easy, on the other hand, is another player that in the NetherRealm community we see him all the time. I would say one of the hardest working players. If there is an online tournament or an exhibition or any way to play, in front of an audience on stream, for prizes, for props, whatever, Too Easy is probably involved somehow. Like, he is putting in the work. He is, and I think you'd be very familiar with players like this, that they see the opportunities and they live for it, right? Like, they just want to make sure that they just love playing the game. They just love competing. They're a competitor at heart, and they just look for any way to kind of show that off to the world.
Yeah, it's actually gotten to the point where even I know Mike Too Easy's name from outside of the Open Series. I've heard of it. I've seen it at other MK events, and just like you're talking about, yeah, like if there's an event, they want to enter it, right? They want to make sure that they get as much experience in their cranium as possible, and that's incredibly important, especially with Ultimate happening right now, especially with all these new variations, because for the first couple of weeks, maybe a couple months even, because there's so many different new variation types, you might get caught off guard on the knowledge checks. So you really have to enter everything, or at least go into the lab and figure out everything with every other character, because you're going to run into a character one day that you're like, wait, he has this as an equipable variation now? Like, I've never seen this before, because it wasn't part of the previous tournament variations, right? So, like, if you're not that type of player, it ends up hurting you in the long run, I feel like.
It's actually funny you should mention that, because we interviewed Too Easy on the final round, which is like a companion show. You can find it on the competition center if you want to tune in, those of you watching at home. But we actually interviewed Too Easy on the final round not too long ago, where we actually mentioned that to him. We talk about, he grinds a lot. He's always playing in online tournaments or exhibitions, whatever it might be. And does he find that knowledge actually helps him in other events or whatever else he might play in? And he said, yeah, he has had situations where there are players that he has fought in the Open Series, that started in the Open Series, that have then gone on to play in other community events that he has been ready for, because he knows how they play and what they do. And then he's seen other competitive players lose to them or struggle with them because they haven't seen it. And these players are a complete new thing to them. So it definitely has been a thing that helps. However, Illuminati coming back in again today. Too Easy, however, going back in with, I believe this is the kind of standard Cetrion variation we're seeing right now, which is teleport, tornado, and the ground pound. A very strong variation in the hands of any solid player.
Yeah, sometimes even when you give players the option to go for anything they possibly want, some things are just going to be a little bit better than others. So I totally understand wanting to go for having the tornado and the ground pound particularly. The tornado is going to...
If it lets you do what you want to do, then why not, right? If the choice is there, it's yours to make.
Okay, so Too Easy does have that fatal blow on deck, so he just needs to get as much damage right there, but there's the dive kick! Okay. Possible buzzsaw mix-up right here. Yeah, there it is. It's going to catch after the fireball in the air. Normally, when Cetrion shoots something right there and you haven't already set something out, that can be really difficult to deal with, but because buzzsaw is already out there, it's just going to catch her on the way down, and it's guaranteed.
Is one of the stronger kind of setup / projectiles in the game. Buzzsaw, a very, very stacked move. It does so much for you. There's that stagger called out. Too Easy. Not letting Illuminati get away with it. Ooh, hello.
Okay, using the interactable.
Yeah, important for Cetrion, because this variation, it has pretty much everything, but what it doesn't have is a high traditional damage output in terms of confirms and combos. If you can find those interactables to give you a bit more, definitely going to help. But a good throw tech. However, Illuminati still moving in.
Yeah, ground pound, a frame trap, kind of messing him up right there. Yeah, he's having a little bit of a difficult time moving forward. That buzzsaw should help him out just a bit. But yeah, nice counter poke, but no. Okay, got the spin, dive kick, full extension.
That's such a tricky combo, but the damage is so worth it. Too Easy. Oh, he's just getting opened up. No, Illuminati missed it. But a punish. Yeah, Too Easy.
Oh, my heart's
extending
broken from that.
Yeah, just a little bit too far there from Too Easy. Now, Too Easy playing the Cetrion, I'm actually quite surprised to see it. Too Easy he's played a bunch of characters since launch, but I can't say I remember Cetrion really being one of them that he'd put a lot of time into. Really known mainly for the Sub-Zero, the Scorpion, the Shang Tsung, the Collector even as of late, but never the Cetrion. But I think there's definitely a chance for that as well, where we'll talk about how the addition of custom moves lets players go to existing characters they already play in a different way, but there is definitely an argument to be made of people that never played a certain character. Maybe they didn't like their existing variations, and now they get to make their own. They can go to those characters knowing how they want to play. So
I want to assume that picking Cetrion has to do with the ground pound stopping him setting up buzzsaw and then teleporting from full screen, because normally that's one of those things that is it feels infallible versus a lot of characters, right? Because you could stop the teleport, but the problem is the buzzsaw is in the back. And so if you're able to hit him before the buzzsaw teleport exists with the ground pound from full screen, I feel like that's probably what they're going for. But I'm not definitely about super knowledgeable.
no, but it's a good assumption, because in this kind of variation, or this matchup of variations, it really is about putting a stop to that buzzsaw, because that is a move that we haven't really been used to seeing Kung Lao players use, but it is so oppressive. The buzzsaw it exists and you have to deal with it. On block it's there, on hit it's there, and if your character has an answer for it, you need to find it, and you need to really rely on that, because if you don't, that move will completely dominate how the set is played, and you just have no control. There it is, trying to go for that cheeky cancel.
Yeah, unfortunately, that allowed for Illuminati to be able to jump out of the corner, changing the tide a little bit. He's still got the life lead, especially with the zoning, and there's the teleport, caught the hat throw.
Enough for the grab as well, using the small advantage. Oh, but there's the call out. Is that going to be fatal blow?
I would assume so,
No!
but oh, the drop
That
maybe
is-
just a little bit too high. However, oh my goodness, that's gonna kill because of it.
I do not envy Kung Lao players, because out of all the fatal blows in the game, that is the only one that I see consistently have just strange connection issues in those kind of circumstances. But the read was definitely do a button into fatal blow, but Kung Lao, forever the awkward fatal blow, unfortunately. But the good thing for Illuminati is it didn't cost him the round, and as a silver lining, gets to keep the fatal blow, because it didn't actually connect. So won the round and kept the resources. What's to not like?
Well, I mean, it's looking like he's probably going to end up needing it for this round if he's able to find a way in, but that's the problem, is finding a way in, because right now the decisions from Too Easy have been pretty much perfect. I look at the damage output just from zoning, not a single actual combo, just chucking boulders, teleport right here to finally go in, get that chip damage. Oh, and the whip punish.
Now that was definitely a Cetrion round for Too Easy right there. She doesn't have traditional damage output as you know it, but this is why. She is just going to be constantly chipping you down, whether it's boulders. Boulder on block guarantees ground pound. You can cancel the ground pound, so maybe the second hit isn't something to respect, right? Like there's all these options that Cetrion has from a distance. She's such a terrifying character, but the Buzzsaw, not a bad projectile in its own right, as we're seeing here. That is 70 damage every time. Hang on a minute. Too Easy losing these trades.
Yeah, one of the few times you're going to see Cetrion actually lose out on the zoning war, and which is going to allow Kung Lao to move forward. Nice catch on the teleport too. Just jumps out.
Dive kick. Okay. And again, Too Easy on the grab. Escape fail no less. This is bad news for Too Easy. We are looking at chip potential territory here. Oh, and just tries to fatal blow. That might be it. Yep. That is going to be all she wrote at the moment. 2-0 now lead for Illuminati. Ooh, goes for tricky extension. Trying to swag out, drops it, but the important thing is he won the game, so it's not too bad.
I think one of the important things right there is he recognized the insurmountable life lead that he was in right there. So he had over 80% of his health, whereas Cetrion was pretty much down to 20%. So rather than starting to toss Buzzsaw, he just down backed, right? Waiting for that teleport to eventually come, and then he interrupted it. Twice that happened, and twice that allowed for him to take the game, I feel like.
No, for sure. It definitely... The weight is on Too Easy in that situation, right? Where you have a lot of life to get back. Cetrion, she is an incredible character, but she's not exactly known for massive comebacks. Especially against a character like Kung Lao, right? When we have seen that. I mean, we're seeing it in this match, right? We saw it all through EU earlier, but this Buzzsaw attack, such a problem for characters that can't punish it. And I'll try my best to kind of go over how it works and the options for it. And I'm sure that I'm not even going to scratch the surface, but if you just do it on block and let it rock, it's quite minus on block, so it should be on paper punishable. But he's really far away, so some characters can reach him, some characters can't. If you can punish it and he just holds it, you end up walking into it because it's active and it doesn't connect. He can amplify it and start moving. He can move it before he lets it go. There's so many options that Kung Lao has while summoning it. There is no way you could really be ready for every option. You just need to find what works as quickly as possible and stick to that. But if you can't find anything, it is a stress to fight against.
Another problem is he adds even more options if he has teleport available to do after it too, because he's doing it from far ranges. The teleport itself has the mix-up potential on top of that. But missing the dive kick right there, jumps over the Sub-Zero string. Okay.
There's the setup. Oh, and again, Too Easy. Oh, but there's the punish. Hello, that should be the
fatal
round,
blow, right?
Yeah,
fatal blow.
I think Too Easy. I think he was taking a bit of time. I think he was basically just looking around to see if he could kill without using that.
Yeah.
Because using Sub-Zero's fatal blow is definitely taking an important tool off the table, because that is your source of big damage, threatening a comeback. You can build up KBs and not worry about it. Without the fatal blow, Sub-Zero is still strong by all means, but not quite as scary to defend against. So I think he was just looking for a way of maybe saving it, but won't matter right now. It's set quite the start here. Ooh, but quite a long range wake up. Up 3 right there from Illuminati, that invincible strike.
Yeah, it's all in the legs for that. Long dances legs for Kung Lao.
Shaolin Warrior. Oh, no punish on the roll. Definitely looking for it.
Yeah, I thought for sure he had gotten it right there when I saw that, but no dice on that's going to be able to push him back into the corner. That's great for Too Easy because he needs that life, but wow! Just calling him out. Bold. Absolutely no respect. The Buzzsaw setup, and that's going to do it for the round right there. I think he did get up roll on that, and the Buzzsaw caught it. Either that or it was the get up 3.
That That was a absolute slippery slope that plummeted, and it started off wake-up buttons from half screen. Illuminati, that was one of those situations where you know your only way back into the game is to do something like that, and it just worked in that moment. Illuminati with a read, and that does take him to match point, even though he is on the defending side at Sub-Zero right now. Too easy. Oh, but there's the poke. Okay, the interruption. Too easy fighting back.
Are you truly on the defending side when you have Buzzsaw amplified in front of the opponent?
You're still attacking, you're just waiting to attack better.
Yeah. Well, Fatal Blow is on deck though for Kung Lao, so one hit is at the very least. Oh, the throw! Just barely alive right now. It's got to be able to block the string, but no.
I like that choice as well from Too Easy though, going for that full low string. Hits a couple of times, it's very active, hard to kind of mistime that meaty. No defensive bar to absorb via the last breath. Really well played from Too Easy there. And I think this is definitely Too Easy trying. So this is an example of a player that I think is trying something because it's good and then going back to something more familiar. Not to say that Sub-Zero isn't strong, because Sub-Zero is absolutely a contender for one of the more improved characters with the additions of customs. Absolutely. But there's definitely an argument to be made, and this is, again, you know, this is applicable to many fighting games, arguably all fighting games, where you can have a top tier character, right? And you pick something because it's top tier, but you might still play better with something that you're just more familiar with. Maybe you just feel more comfortable with. And in a tournament when you only have a few matches at a time to really kind of figure that out, I kind of understand why you would end up going back to the familiar, which is what I think we're seeing from Too Easy here.
Yeah, the familiarity has been a large point of contention pretty much for everybody in every fighting game, just like you said. Point of familiarity can turn what would normally be a bad matchup between two players into like an okay matchup, simply because you have every knowledge of that character more so than anybody else that plays the game, right? So like you can just be totally comfortable running into something that would normally be bad, or at the very least, even if it was a good matchup that you played before, changing it. There it is.
But how many times have we seen players that, like, they'll be training partners and the matchup they play together might be 6-4, but it never looks like it. Because they'll go dead even, or they'll just be used to it. However, right now, big change, Too Easy, completely swinging the momentum right here. Now, Sub-Zero, definitely a fast-paced character. Ooh, I've never seen that happen before. No, but again, Too Easy getting clipped.
You were talking about misconnections on the Kung Lao combos, that one right there. Fatal Blow back on deck right now, could take the round, goes for the throw. One more setup is possible to finish this off. Buzzsaw, of course, it's amplified. And yeah, you want to tech the throw, but is that guaranteed if you tech the throw?
Yes, it is. 100% guaranteed. Now, the reason you don't see that too often is because it actually really neuters the damage of the throw. Because if you go for the throw, and like, the throw does 130 damage, right? But if you throw them into the Buzzsaw, it's 80. So you lose a decent chunk of that throw's damage. But if that's all you need to kill, then why not?
Yeah, well, yeah, it's a checkmate situation pretty much. You take the throw and you die, or you tech the throw and you get Buzzsaw. There's no choice. So
just pick your poison.
Yeah, well, I mean, unfortunately, Mike Too Easy had to. However, coming into this round a lot better right now. It's going to be able to get that forward too.
Well, is that enough to kill?
No.
I don't think so.
Okay, slide.
Now we're going into potentially a tied-up scenario right here. Unless Illuminati... Oh, caught jumping out by the full string. That was a very odd interaction there.
Yeah, caught a second jump right there, but unfortunately missed the ice ball. That's going to allow for Illuminati to set up the Buzzsaw, and yeah, there's the spin. Okay, well, there was a
full jumping. Uh-oh. What do you do here? There's no bar. Okay, the walk-up overhead. I like that. Not going to punish the Buzzsaw, but you know they're blocking, so you're just going to take the mix-up, but the wake-up again. Stagger. Okay, Buzzsaw. Again, that Buzzsaw so plus on hit as well. Now, reset into Fatal Blow or Fatal Blow now? Okay, right, there it is. Okay, so here's the play. Too Easy. Cashing out on the Fatal Blow right now. Take the life lead. Don't kill, but get one hit away potentially. Now, what's it going to be? No way.
Buzzsaw activated right now. Okay, nice Abare to get out of there, and he jumps immediately over the ground pound. Incredible recognition right there from Illuminati.
That was so clutch, and that is matchup knowledge to the extreme. Sub-Zero's creeping ice, when you amplify it, it does, in theory, make everything safe on block when it connects, but it does not jail from every button. Illuminati showing all of you right now, it's important to know your options. Sub-Zero's low is not a string that guarantees creeping ice. Illuminati knew that, jumped out with punish, GG, shake my hand via the internet, and that's it, done. Illuminati with a perfect finish to that set.
I think the reason why you would want to go for jump there, regardless of any other other options that Sub-Zero might be able to present there that could catch the jump out is the fact that he was up 2-1 right there, right? If he jumps out, he wins the set. If he jumps out and hits, he wins the set. If he jumps out and gets caught, well, okay, at least he gets to try again, right? So I feel like the risk reward was actually kind of in his favor, despite the life totals being very similar.
Yeah, it's one of those situations where, even like further still, if he just sat there and blocked, he would have been chipped out. Last breath would have gone through, and he actually would have died anyway. So that was the only thing he could do to survive, but it was also the right thing. You know, it's one of those weird scenarios where the knowledge is what got him through 100%, and that's why Illuminati, you know, he's going to be facing off against Ice Scorpion in the second round of winners, as we've already done 2 of our games. We now move on to our 3rd of the day for North America, where Breaking and Mighty Unjust will have their eternal rematch. Where, I mean, this has been the kind of thing where Breaking is another player that has definitely kind of gone through strength to strength in the Open Series. There are a bunch of these players that we haven't really seen as much before over the last kind of 6 months or so, and because they're regular appearances in Open Series, they've kind of become names that we recognize. We've seen them as players, we've seen them grow, and Breaking has definitely had that kind of journey where he has been able to take out really strong players eventually over time by gradually getting better. But Mighty Unjust is a player that has kind of consistently been a problem for him. But Breaking has definitely taken it to Game 5 against Mighty Unjust before, and he has had some success. But in terms of overall games, it is usually Unjust that wins.
I feel like Mighty Unjust has been a monkey wrench for everybody, not just Breaking, to be honest with you. Especially with, like, you know, before Ultimate, where Mighty Unjust was pretty much running the game in terms of Open Series, right, was just pretty much always #1, if not 2, right?
I mean, it is literally the story of Mortal Kombat. Mighty Unjust, he got 9 victories in Mortal Kombat, and then he lost for the 10th. And then months later, he got another win streak of 9 tournament victories in the Open Series, and he lost the 10th. So, I mean, fate has a weird way of working, doesn't it?
Outside of their individual matchup versus each other, is there more that you can tell me about Breaking specifically? Because I know a lot about Mighty Unjust, right? Mighty Unjust is kind of like the household name here in the Open Series. Breaking, you know, has been here, but I'm not too well versed in them, right? So if you could...
So there is actually, no, for sure, that there is a really, and it's personally one of my favorite stories of the Open Series for MKLab, is the inclusion of the Mexican Mortal Kombat community. Mm-hmm. Online events are nothing new in Mortal Kombat, but the game has great netcode, but not even the best netcode in the business can save certain distances and, you know, connection quality to a certain range. So a lot of online tournaments will kind of keep things to specific regions. So if you are playing for money or you're playing for, you know, props or whatever it may be, if you want the tournament to have, you know, to be the most serious, you tend to keep certain regions not allowed. However, with Open Series, there are a lot more regions eligible than normal, and it hasn't even resulted in the games being that different. Like, the pings might be a little bit higher, but it's definitely been fine to watch and for the players to play in, because the results have shown that. But it does mean that, you know, the Mexican scene do tend to get left out, because a lot of, like, organizers, they might exclude Mexico from a region they're allowed to enter for whatever reasons it may be, but not the Open Series. And Breaking is one of those players that is a really strong Mexican player that we haven't really seen because of that. And Mexico don't have a tremendous amount of offline presence in Mortal Kombat that we get to see regularly. So he is one of those players that I didn't really know anything about him 6 months ago, you know, and my experience in the NetherRealm community goes back to 2011. But thanks to Open Series and us being able to see these players, that's completely changed. But he is Sub-Zero and Liu Kang, bringing the Liu Kang, it seems, today. But, I know, is he playing Cassie? Or is it Unjust playing Cassie?
Unjust is on Cassie.
I thought so, because I know Unjust plays Liu Kang as well, but I wasn't sure, but... Okay, I see the variation name, and I know exactly what Unjust is going for. This is...
It tells you.
Yeah, thank you for that, Unjust. It saves the fact that I wasn't looking at character select. But, no, it's this right here, that bullet bounce. Is, as far as I'm aware, pretty much safe on block. So on hit, you get a combo, and on block, you can make yourself safe. Cassie's 1-1-1, that 3-punch string, it's what in this game they call an auto shimmy, where due to certain moves, like a combination of visuals and timing of, you know, going for like a single hit and then like staggering for a throw, looks and feels timing-wise very similar to finishing the string. There are a lot of strings like that in this game that throw people off, and Cassie's 1-1-1 is like that. That right there, where it's your Punisher, it's your fastest high, but on block, your opponent might think a throw is coming and they get hit by it. And on block, if they do deal with it, you can make it safe with a gunshot. And this is where, I mean, this was nerfed from her, because the way she would make it safe was using a different special move that is now no longer safe. But now, thanks to customs, you can just equip one that is, and you're playing pre-patch Cassie. And it really helps, as Unjust took that round with force.
Yeah, it wasn't even just the 1-1-1 mix-up right there. It was also just like the confirms and everything like that. The gunshots with full screen. But, okay, breaking back in there with the throw.
Oh, the forward roll!
Counter! Yeah, that forward roll was pretty much everything right there. If he had just wake up normally, that Amplify Fireball would have put him in enough block stun that it would have been okay for breaking. But I think that's probably the matchup knowledge, right?
Absolutely. No, that is definitely just being aware. Oh! And just trying to fight through, but the fatal blow is found. Breaking, staying alive. Now, Breaking, on the other hand, going for that kind of more traditional Liu Kang, where you take Kusari Slam, the nunchuck stance, but of course the low fireball. Liu Kang's low fireball, arguably his strongest move. Really strong fireball in general, you know, crouches you down, you win trades. But against someone like Cassie, with that bullet bounce, not really going to be the same thing, so an interesting full-screen game for sure.
The bullet bounce doesn't seem to be as strong when Liu Kang has the Amplify working, but there's the crushing blow, gonna push him full screen to start that back up. Amplify is available for those fireballs, and yeah, I think you're recognizing that Fireball Amplify beat the bullet bounce, so kind of doesn't want to go for it, but there is another Amplify, no meter left.
Yeah, Breaking not having bar is huge right now, especially with his back to the wall. He kind of walked himself back here, but... Okay, there's the grab. Hang on a minute, Breaking. Oh, crushing blow! I didn't even realize he had that. I might have just put in a seriously bad position right now. Has fatal blow, but oh, that could have been huge. Oh no, the overcommitment. There's the restand.
On the mix-up. Oh, there it is. Throw. Yeah, I think he's got a throw for each mix-up so far. It's just a matter of, it's still a 50-50 though, because it's, you know, back or forward throw. But with the down one to be able to finish it off right there for Breaking.
Yeah, just keeping it clean. Only needed 1%. Down one's going to take it. But that's always gonna be the, I would say, the truest 50-50 in MK11 is throws at mid screen. But even then, like and this has been the case for a long time. It's always been one of those kind of like running points in the game where is it truly a 50-50 or are there other factors? And there are always other factors, but kind of fundamentally it always comes down to yes, but maybe not sometimes. Where they have crushing blows on one direction and not the other. Does one direction give Oki and the other one doesn't? Are they looking for corner positioning? And, you know, obviously, you know, yourself, you commentate a lot of Soul Calibur, where I feel like the throw game is kind of similar, where depending on where they are and when they'll get ring out.
I would say it's almost actually the same. Like, I think you're totally right.
But no, it was definitely a scenario that, again, I felt like all the discussions I would hear it say in MK, because there was a period where I myself played a lot of Soul Calibur 6 when it first came out, and I would, whenever I'd see that topic, it was literally like I was just listening to the Mortal Kombat community talk about throws in the same way. There were so many similarities.
Okay, so it is going to be the Jackie right here. This character has been running amok since the beginning, and I would say she probably even got better thanks to custom variations, which is wild to think about.
I'm actually very surprised by that too, where Jackie as a character, she did receive some nerfs, right, where dash punch is unsafe on block now, and her options from enhanced shrapnel and super jump, they're all easier to flawless block. But this variation right here, the outplayed variation, as Unjust calls it, it is basically upgraded with the grenade launcher instead of the ground pound, but it gives you tremendous damage output. And right there, the fire on the floor, the big thing about that is, you know, the last breath mechanic, which saves you from chip damage and means you can block a certain amount of attacks down to magic pixel, that goes through it. So oh, there's the counter. Hang on a minute, breaking. I don't want to speak too soon. No, never mind the counter.
With the rush punch, yeah.
But no, so the way that damage over time works in this game is if the damage over time is planted on you and it's like stuck to you, that can't kill you, and that doesn't go through last breath. If the damage over time is planted on the floor or on the screen in some way, and it can technically be avoided, that will go through. And grenade launcher is the latter, so that's where you find it the most there. With the low breaking, that was a dangerous play to go for that.
It also kind of gives her like a slightly farther away anti-air option if you think about it. It's a little more like technical, but it's totally possible.
It definitely works as well, especially in this kind of matchup where Liu Kang wants to be sitting there throwing low fireballs, but if he's got fire underneath him, or if you smack him with the amplified version, he can't really do that in the same way. Oh, but a miss input there. Oh, hello, counter poke. Oh,
fatal blow. Big damage right there. I think that's it, right?
That will definitely be it for the round. And if it wouldn't normally be, which I'm sure it would be, Jackie has that 50 less health anyway, so that's definitely going to add to it.
I mean, still got the crushing blow on the rush punch on deck, but oh wow, full screen jump, big damage on that.
I was about to say,
uses it.
May not see it held for very long in this round. Round 3. Oh, but the micro duck breaking. Now, breaking playing with a lot of confidence right here. And this is what you need to do, especially against someone like Unjust, but no, commits and the punish. Now, here's the thing. We actually don't tend to see the nunchuck stance options punished very often at all, but Unjust, I mean, he used to play Dragon's Breath Liu Kang, and that was the variation that had this before, so if anyone's going to be aware of the punishes, you know it's him. But there's the staggers again, breaking. The walk-up grab, throwing out two, no less. Maybe trying to get towards.
Yeah, back throw
harder to break.
In the corner is a nice mix-up, because a lot of people think, oh, you don't want to lose the corner, right? So I'm going to tech forward, but no dice on that. Okay, another jump over, push him back. The back roll, unfortunately, right there, gets caught in the air. Fatal blow to finish it off, and that's a game for Mighty Unjust.
Well played, and that's about what we're expecting to see, really. All came down to that final play. Fatal blow, a looming threat, non-stop, and breaking. Going to be losing, well, I say losing the set, not really losing the match, tying up the set, I meant to say. Mighty Unjust is looking good on this tried and true Jackie. One of the more, I would say, popular characters that he's played since the patch, and it always feels weird to say that, because especially those of you that have watched Open Series for a while, you know, the Mighty Unjust tends to play the board. You know, almost every week he'd come in with something completely brand new, whether it was a new character or new moves, whatever it may be, and you know, when we, especially for those of you that maybe started watching since Ultimate, you might not think it, but he was, you know, he's a solid player now for sure, and still a favorite to win as far as I'm concerned, but was thoroughly unstoppable for a tremendous amount of time in Open Series, and a big part of that was different characters every time, different variations, whatever. He was clearly on this next level of confidence because he knew what he was capable of doing. But now, you know, since the patch, going to this Jackie variation, which is, I would say, the most popular Jackie variation for sure, which is the super jump, you know, the bionic bounce, grenade launcher, enhanced air blast. It is the closest thing to pre-patch upgraded that I think you can get now in terms of damage output and just overall, I guess, steamrolly as Jackie can be as a character. This variation very much still does it.
Even with the Mighty Unjust's pedigree behind him and everything like that, Breaking has put up quite the fight. Even that last match went down to the final round, right? And even though my Spanish is a little rusty, los jugadores de Mexico es fantástico. Just throwing that out there. Breaking has impressed me super hard so far. So
he's playing out of his mind. No, for sure, he's playing out of his mind. Breaking a player that, again, like he's definitely gone from strength to strength in the Open Series, but has never been able to achieve that like top success. Like he's been able to take it over really strong players, but there's always only so far he could go in the bracket. But he's playing against Unjust like it's just another day in the office, and that's what you need. You need that confidence, and Breaking has more than proved that he is a threat as a player. And it's the kind of set where you really show the world that. Oh, but that makes up
the command
layers.
grab.
Oh, he's dead. Surely. No, not quite.
No, just barely. Even with the 50 less health, not enough to be able to take it down. He's got the DOT on him right now. No anti-air on the jump right there. And this is the chance right here for Mighty Unjust to make something happen. To get the back throw. And when you're on a pixel and a dream, pretty much anything is fair game for you. Tries to go for the fatal blow to whiff punish, but Breaking did not bite. Didn't press a single button. Stayed ever vigilant and took that round.
That was perfectly played from Breaking. He had a lead for sure, but against a character like Jackie in the hands of Unjust, you never want to give him that moment. Give him an inch, he'll take a mile. There's the hard option. There's a full punish. Now it's both Unjust's punish. He punishes the overhead with the forward one, that mid, and the low with the dash punch. He definitely is aware. That's where it's onto Breaking, right? It's always a mix-up. Right there. Breaking can take this though. He's going to be on that 2-1 lead. That'll be a huge situation to be sitting in.
Yeah, probably be kind of an upset, to be honest with you so far. But
I would have
incredible.
It feels so weird to say it would be an upset, considering both of these players have been on the stream so much, but it just never goes this way for Breaking. The vast majority of the time, Unjust does kind of have his number. Oh, but the raw fly kick. That's the confidence we're talking about.
Shot just I
respect it. I respect it.
Is that in response to them trying to fall down directly right there? The Jackie player was an assumption on that?
I honestly think it was just a call out of something advancing is going to happen right now, and it's not out of range to stuff my armor. Because if that fatal blow did connect, it would have been, Liu Kang has a decent situation after, could have killed without needing too much resources, and it would have won the game too. So it's like if that ended up going well. Almost like similar to what we're talking about with Illuminati, right? Where you might be in a situation where you think, I'll do it, because if I win and it goes well, I'm in a much better situation, but unfortunately not meant to be yet as breaking. We look at that damage over time just stacking up. It doesn't look like much, but when it's constantly there, my god, it adds up.
Yeah, the damage over time, especially not just during like the neutral game, but during combos and everything like that. Like, watch this. Like, that combo did a grip of extra damage due to that fact. And
Absolutely.
Fatal Blow is on deck, the throw escape though. So, I mean,
now,
it's going to be
breaking is actually... He's hit this fatal blow in every game. Like, his success on it has been 100%, so I'd definitely be nervous a little bit. Wasn't just, but no, he commits! And just didn't follow up, though. Really trying to take this slow, but the slower he takes it, the more opportunities breaking has. Oh, he fell. Now, that was a big read from breaking there, though. That low straight into it, that was definitely a call out of he is going to let go of block, or he's going to try and
jump
do
out or
something.
Yeah.
Anything but just sit there and block. And I mean, that's going to happen sometimes where you really find yourself just dedicating one too many times. But Mighty Unjust now going up in the set for the first time in the set, in fact, so it has a little bit of breathing room.
When you have the mix-up potential on the string to be able to do something that's not just Fatal Blow, of course you want to try to mix that in there so that they try to jump out. Because like we saw that in a previous match, right, where we saw the jump out from the Sub-Zero ground pound. And, if a similar situation like that was coming up, then we, might have seen that Fatal Blow work out, but not the case here. 2-1 here. It's going to stick the same characters and everything like that. For a minute there, it looked like he was going to switch on the win, which I didn't realize was
so
a
that's
thing,
actually, no, that's a weird thing that some players do, though, is they'll make the same variation, but they'll give it a different name. But even in competitive mode, your different variations that you've made will retain the costumes you've made. And obviously visuals are a big thing to competitive MK players, because you want to look good while you're winning a tournament online, right?
Of course.
But if it's got a different name, we see it and go, hang on a minute, is he allowed to change? And then you realize that mechanically it's actually the same variation, so it's like a gray area. Like, does it count? Does it not? I don't know. Oh, still though. Oh, hang on, breaking. A big thing here, though, if this is to be believed, he's actually gone back to the traditional Wohan Liu Kang, which is the low fireball, the Shaolin stance, and then you have the parry. And the parry is actually something that breaking has got a lot of mileage out of. So this is the case. That's a big change.
Yeah, losing I believe he loses the command grab for that, right? He no longer has access to that.
He's going to lose both the nunchuck stance for a different stance instead, and instead of the command grab, he's going to have the parry. So it's definitely a strong variation. It's just not what most would say optimal nowadays, but it's not really about being optimal. It's about being the most comfortable, as that round was one-sided.
Totally agree. Comfortability plays so much. We talked about it a little bit earlier, and I mean, hey, it showed there for sure. Caught him on the jump right there. The breakaway is going to come out for Mighty Unjust, so that's going to lose all of his defensive bar.
That was a big duck as well, breaking. I can feel the confidence that he really wants to finish this match off, but if Unjust takes this round, it's going to be match point. Breaking. Hey, there it is. There it is.
Very rarely do I personally get to see the duck on the throw into the down two crushing blow, but hey, I love it.
I would honestly say thousands of times, and I am still not bored of it. It is one of my favorite things. It is so good, and every character gets to do it. It's brilliant. And throws are strong, so it's like the ultimate way of showing someone, I knew you'd gonna throw there, now die. Oh no!
Well, I knew you were gonna throw a fireball there, so now die. As Mighty Unjust working on that set point, trying to move on through the upper bracket here. I can't stress enough though, breaking has brought this down to the wire pretty much every round he possibly can. So regardless of whatever happens in the previous round, I just can never count him out.
No, for sure. No, he's definitely earned that respect. The literal months of tournaments that he has been putting in that time, and being on the stream so many times. I mean, this is far from the first time we've seen these two play, and it will not be the last either, but you do see that progression over time. Even if it's the same result time after time, the fact that Breaking continues to play and continue to bring his best, I mean, you see the improvement. And the fact is, he's taken it absolutely down to the wire against the Mighty Unjust. Like, The proof is right there. He is quite starved for meter, however. Oh no, oh no.
Big jump, big damage. Gonna get the full thing into the corner. I mean, one more mix-up is probably gonna do it here, unless it's maybe the throw. And that, oh no!
We're getting close. He's just blocking for dear life.
And he goes for the parry,
No way.
finally!
No
Amplifies
way.
it, huge damage
No
on this into the fatal blow. Is that death?
It actually might be. I think it might be. Your joke. There's no way. There's no way.
I can't believe this. Only in the open series. Mustard, only in the open series are you gonna see that.
I am absolutely stunned. That was the single best option he had in that moment. To sit there and block against a Jackie that not only is just leaping all over you and sometimes amplifying shrapnel, sometimes not, sometimes you do it, sometimes you land normally, and in this variation too, need I remind you, there is the constant threat of the grenade launcher as well. If at any point the grenade launcher, and when you're on practically magic pixel like Breaking was, at any point the grenade launcher misses you and hits the floor, it creates that fire, it plows through your last breath, and you die. The fact that Breaking found it right there, I mean, we were just talking at the start of that match about how this might not be optimal Liu Kang, but you might want the parry. Maybe you feel good with the parry. The parry is the reason Breaking is still in this set. It is the only reason. If he did not have that parry, he would have been dead for sure. And Breaking is good with the parry, so he's going to make it work. And Unjust has gone off the character now. That's a huge change.
That was the only parry he went through the entire match. No parry.
The only one he needed. Only one he needed.
He didn't whiff a parry. He didn't initiate a parry or anything like that beforehand. So, but yeah, like you said, switch over to Sub-Zero right now. We saw a little bit of this character a moment ago, and it's absolutely no stranger to this character in MK throughout many, many years.
Sub-Zero, definitely one of the characters that is a lot scarier now in Customs, because all of his variations would pretty much have, you would pick it for something, but the other moves in the variations you didn't really want. Now, that's not something you have to really care about. You pick exactly what you want, and this, what's the Rob? This is the go-to sub-variation for Unjust. He's brought out that air axe, the creeping ice for safety, the rising ice for damage. Speaking of ice, freeze.
What perfect timing right there.
It's so good. I'm not going to talk to the physics of it. I think if we bring physics into the equation, we'll be here for a long time. Oh, dash up overhead.
Okay, ground pound's just going to get blocked right now. Yeah, a huge life deficit. He's got to be able to jump over those throwing axes. And, okay, that has been... Oh, I think that might have been just a call out on the get up, right?
I think so. I think that was definitely one of those kind of similar... I don't want to say Hail Mary parries, where that was definitely going to be your best way back in. Expecting like a long range mid or whatever, but against Sub you have to be careful because he does have a really strong standing low, and that parry does lose to lows.
Whatever the case may be, that's going to give Mighty Unjust a chance again at the set point here. And that axe toss in the air has just been putting in so much work, not only on the chip, but excellent at keeping control on Breaking, just keeping him in the exact positions that he wants him to be at. Amplify right there.
It's definitely one of the stronger air projectiles in the game because it covers a great angle. It's really hard for opponents to deal with, and it kind of covers a range that Sub-Zero is kind of already good at, right? When you threaten the back one, the big boot, and then when you throw a really good air projectile on top of it, it just makes his jumping game better too. However, Breaking dead even in this match. However, it's still match point. Oh no, that is a bad start.
Yeah, that is one of the best things that Sub-Zero loves to get right there.
And he button into that confirm. Juicy damage incoming. A fatal blow. Fatal, but no!
Oh, the slide!
Oh, the fact that that set came down to a neutral slide makes my heart hurt so bad. And the friendship, as if it's not bad enough. You see Scorpion's sad face, he's looking at his dropped ice cream. That's Breaking, and the ice cream is the slide. Oh, but what a set. That has got to be some of the best gameplay I've ever seen from Breaking. Like that parry, that parry in the penultimate game may have been one of my all-time favorite plays in all of Open Series. And I say that as someone that has been here for 7 months. It's, you know, it's quite good. It was fairly clutch, if I do say so myself. And oh my goodness, I hope... Okay, no, this isn't the replay. We will talk about it in the future. You can see the VOD. But what a finish.
One thing I do want to mention that I don't feel like we got to talk about was Breaking standing ones as an anti-air. I think every time he went for standing one as an anti-air, he had gotten it into full confirm, full damage, against that Jackie. We didn't get to see it against Sub-Zero, probably due to that axe throw, right? Like that took away that option quite well. But
yeah,
I mean, when it was versus Jackie, breaking had it every time.
It definitely is one of the stronger anti-airs in the game, right? That Liu Kang standing one, but it's not something you can just do every time without fail. You have to time it. You have to make sure you're at the right height. You have to make sure they're at the right height more accurately. Especially a character like Jackie, who is just all over you at all times, right? Like, does she amplify the leap? Does she not? Does she go for shrapnel? Because if she thinks you're going to anti-air and she shrapnels, then you press a button, then you'll lose to it, right? So doing it against the Jackie it's more impressive, if anything. But it is like you said, right? That air projectile with Sub-Zero does do wonders for just deterring people from attempting an anti-air in any way. But of course, that does mean Unjust is going to be moving on, as now we go to our fourth match, which is something I am very excited to watch. Biohazard, actually. Yes. Biohazard versus Titanium Tigers. So not only do we see the return of Biohazard, who, to be completely honest, and I say this as a massive Biohazard fanboy, he's one of my favorite players to watch by far in the Mortal Kombat scene. But considering he was known really for having a lot of knowledge over like custom Kano and custom of his characters even before this happened, hasn't had the greatest couple of weeks in the Open Series. He has definitely been caught out by unfamiliarity a lot, and even then, like his variations, I don't think he's got bad variations by any means, but he doesn't seem to always have the right pick. He seems to be very much in the phase of figuring out what he will use for what scenarios, and hasn't really been able to consistently find that success that he used to see since customs became the norm. But Biohazard, a very experimental player, he's a bit of a mad scientist with his characters, and it's been a little bit more time, right? And an extra week can do a lot for a player's kind of knowledge and awareness. And his opponent, Titanium Tigers, is, again, first time Open Series, but far from first time in online tournaments. He has been in as many online tournaments as I can recall in the North American scene for not just this game, but Injustice 2 and other games previously. So I'm happy to see him make the show.
So one of the reasons why I'm excited about this match in particular is Titanium Tigers, actually. Just like you mentioned, Titanium Tigers is in every online thing. If you ask any MK11 player that plays online, they have played against Titanium Tigers more times than they can count. I'm sure of it.
That is definitely true.
Another reason why I'm excited about it is because Titanium Tigers is actually in my state. Titanium Tigers is a local player to me. Yes, that is right. So Titanium Tigers is out of Oregon. So I have actually one of the few people in the Open Series that I'm actually a little more accustomed to, without having to even watch the Open Series. And like you said, first time here, right, in the top 8.
So you're saying it was meant to be. This is fate that drew you to the Open Series for MK11 on today of all days.
Apparently so. It came out of nowhere, but okay, so that's gonna be Nightwolf. All right.
Okay.
This is actually one of my favorite characters in the game, by the way. Just throw that out there.
No, I am very intrigued because this is very much not what we were expecting to see. Where so Titanium Tigers are going for the very tried and true Setron variation, like Earthquake, Winds, Teleport, but Biohazard. Okay, Command Grab, Mid Projectile, and Lightning Arrow, and that's the move right there. Moonfall. Moonfall is, I would say, one of the trickiest moves in the game, where it's very much like it's akin to, if anyone's watching will aware, Ronin Takeda in MKX, where you have like swords that you throw down and you can recall them instantly, or you can make them attack on the way back. It's incredibly tricky, but you throw your weapon down and then you recall it in a few ways. And while it's being recalled, it comes back to you in like a straight line. It's an attack on the way. This combined with Command Grab and Mid Projectile. I mean, Biohazard, I said he's very experimental, right? But this is one of the stronger projectiles in the game. And if you get close, it is going to be a constant mind game of, do I Command Grab or do I go for the Moonfall instead? And I do hope we get a chance to see it.
There's that projectile reflect. That's one of the reasons why Nightwolf is so annoying to deal with if you're a zoning character, is that projectile reflect, along with the bow and arrow being incredibly quick, and the fact that he can just hold that bow and arrow and cancel it.
Oh, there it is. Oh, the jump. You see the recall? Oh, the grab.
Goes for the throw.
Now, while Moonfall is on the ground, you do lose access to any of your normals that use the Tomahawk, so you have to be very careful as to what you use. However, Titanium Tigers finding a hit. Ooh.
Yeah, I was trying to possibly whip punish that right there, but yeah, the jump in's not going to work out. There's the punish on the block. Gets the crushing blow. Going to go for damage. Back up, because now you have the W, right? Yeah, you're so much in the life lead that if you make an incorrect decision by walking too far forward as a zoning character, you might actually change the tide of battle against yourself.
Yeah, it's very easy to kind of get too comfortable when you have that life lead and you know you're so close to getting the win. It's like, oh, I'll just go for a quick jump kick here, and before you know it, they backdash at the last minute, and then you're open and you get trip guarded. It's not fun.
Yeah,
but right here, that lightning arrow, definitely one of the strong projectiles. Amazing, 90 damage on hit. That's like just 9%, just about.
It's not only is it 90 damage, but it's also a very long amount of knockdown stun, right? That gives him a dash up.
Especially in this game. Like hard knockdowns and long knockdowns are nothing new in Mortal Kombat, but in this game there really aren't as many as previous. So if you have a move, I mean, that even if you get a launch with this variation of Nightwolf, that's still going to be your main ender because it does 90 damage and it has that good knockdown, which point blank is amazing. Nice catch.
Oh,
we got the KB.
Frame trap. Big damage here. One more mix-up should finish it off.
That might actually kill. Does he amp this? Yeah, he does.
Yeah,
oh, not knife.
Okay, but the tomahawk was ready and prevalent after he tossed it. Very smart decision right there from Biohazard. One apiece here in the first game, looking pretty close already.
Now this is one of the most common variations we've seen in the game since Ultimate came out. Is a Cetrion. So if Biohazard can take out this variation, because Titanium Tiger's not really a player known for having a main. Oh, but there's the OS. You see Titanium Tiger's that little micro duck. There is a tick throw there. Titanium Tigers knew it, ready to stop it. But we're not really a player known for having a main, so I can guarantee if this doesn't work out, he will change. But the question is, will he need to? Oh, grab didn't quite connect.
Catching the teleport right there with the jump. Interesting. Okay, mix up here. Nice block on the low.
No, Titanium, his fuzzing has been great. Now, okay, Biohazard really committing to the options off that overhead. You know, the full string off the overhead is actually, there's a lot of layers to it if you have the command grab, but a lot of those layers are either low reward or incredibly high risk, or both, where you finish the string and it's an extra hit, does a little bit of damage, and it's unsafe on block. However, the second to last hit is a tick throw. So if you have a command grab, you can cancel into the command grab, and if they're blocking, they get hit. You can go for, and it's a high command grab, so if you think they're going to duck waiting for the grab, you can shoulder.
Oh man.
There are so many options, but they're all high risk and not the biggest reward. But if any of them do hit, you can get a moonfall, you can dash up and go for a command grab, Oki, or whatever it might be that you want. But again, against a character like Cetrion, where you have to work to get in the first place, when you do get in, dedicating to that immediately is kind of like, I've done all the work to close this distance, and now I'm in, I'm going to roll the dice on something that doesn't have an amazing payout. And if I'm wrong, I'm right back where I started, and I'm getting sent back to full screen, or tornado into plus frames, like whatever. It's not a scenario you want to find yourself in often. But Biohazard, he has stuck to it. He's definitely not one to shy away from trying new things out in tournament.
Well, I feel like for Biohazard, though, we've definitely seen once he's very close to taking that L, maybe on the third game or what have you, switching back to Kano is pretty much guaranteed, I feel like. There have been some instances where it's not been the case, but... Probably going to want to get... I was going to say, get that Tomahawk back.
We need to. Yeah, you still got it out. The problem is, with the Tomahawk gone, you do lose access to a few good moves. But you still have enough. Like, you still have a standing one, you can do 1-1. You still have the overhead string. It's usually those two options, but your better mids, your advancing buttons at the very least, you tend to lose access to. And losing advancing buttons against a hard keep-away character isn't great.
Oh, wow, yeah, I like that decision right there to use the Amplify to stop the Lightning Arrow, because he recognized that, like, if he didn't Amplify, that Lightning Arrow actually would have just caught him, and he would have lost the zoning war, but caught the jump for the crushing blow!
It's not every day you see that happen when someone jumps into it after it's already been thrown. I can only imagine Bio was expecting it to be a ground one and just was not ready for the alternative. Oh, but the roll, the active frames of the natural barrier. Titanium Tiger's looking very much in control right now. Bio constantly having to play catch-up.
Round 2.
Well, I mean, Ketchup, it didn't really seem like he was here, so I don't know if he can play. sorry, I had to get it.
That's right. He makes horrible dad jokes as well. It's fine. It's like he never left.
I'm just trying to bring the Open Series back what it loves and knows. All right, I just have to keep it here.
The missing piece returns. Oh, got a good amp from that barrier.
Yeah, I think the name of the game is that anytime he sees that bow come out, he's going to amplify that natural barrier for sure.
It does have quite a decent amount of startup. You can see if you are playing that keep away, you're kind of used to seeing what it is they're doing and what your options are. Titanium. This is quite... Oh, hello. Maybe not. Oh, but the forward roll. Okay. Getting aggressive.
I feel like in that kind of situation, you're definitely not ready for a forward roll. But back roll's going to do it right there because that gets the throw. And okay, so 2-0 right now for Titanium Tigers.
I really love how slippery he's being. I feel like considering we can see Bio's variation, we kind of know what it is he's playing for, right? This variation, it has options in the neutral, but its main synergy comes from getting a command grab and turning that command grab into amplify, so you get moonfall, so you get pressure, so you get mix-ups. But it really requires you to kind of be point blank in a scenario where that's even a threat to begin with. And I feel like Titanium Tigers, he's winning the full screen game because, you know, Setron versus Nightwolf, he's kind of just, you know, he's got the air options for projectiles, the boulder has, you know, great knockdown on it. But the big thing is whenever Biohazard has even remotely gone into that kind of close range, that's when Titanium, he's looking for the roll, whether it's forward, whether it's back, whether it's jumping back, whether it's backdashing. It's just being as mobile as possible, so he is impossible to pin down. Because if you're playing a character like this Nightwolf, and you kind of clip them as they jump up, or maybe you hit them with the last hit of a string that you weren't quite ready for, that's where it gets really uncomfortable to pin someone down, and your damage just isn't there. So Titanium Tigers is just playing super annoying, because it's going to make it way harder for Bio to get anything started, and I really agree with it.
Hey, that's the exact way that you got to play that Sentry on. I feel like it's especially against a character that has these options in particular to be able to knock down you on the zoning. I feel like it's such a smart move, and there's that amplify again. You see the bow and arrow, you hit natural barrier already, you have to amplify it, and look at the damage it's output for Titanium Tigers.
I mean, for something like that, to just do a quarter of your life there and then, it's like, oh, okay, right, I guess I'm full screen again, and I'm dead. However, Biohazard, the fact that he's stuck with his Nightwolf variation for all 3 matches, this is definitely Bio doing what Bio always does, which is, I want to try something out, and even if I'm losing, doesn't matter. Losing is part of the experience. But also, to make a reverse 3-game sweep with something new, that's, you know, a new variation, or whatever it may be, is a great way to go, oh, okay, well, I guess this is worth my time. If I can make that comeback early on, then cool. This is definitely a pick for me. But Titanium Tigers, this brick wall of offense, such a pain.
Yeah, Titanium Tigers is playing in such a way that Moonfall has been a non-factor outside of the very first game. Very first game, it got a little bit of mileage, right? But outside of that, I haven't been able to see Moonfall really do its work. It's all been that lightning arrow. It's all been, you know, shoulder tackle, projectile reflect, and attempting to catch that air-to-air just like that.
Now amplify this, Moonfall comes out. There's again, you see, even there, like immediately poking after blocking that down 3. This is Titanium Tigers just not wanting to sit still, because the second he sits still, he is at the mercy of Moonfall, and he just does not want to be in that situation at all. Oh, the walk up, that walk back!
What a whiff punish!
Titanium Tigers, the ultimate debut, taking it 3-0 in dominant fashion against Biohazard, and the friendship to end it. The amount of times I've seen this bloody friendship on the Open Series, I'd say I'm tired of it, but that's a lie. I still like it.
I feel like most of the friendships are really hard to get tired of, to be honest with you, because they're hilarious to me, personally.
I mean, considering there are finishing moves in Mortal Kombat that have been in for literal decades that I will still watch and be like, it's like, all right, cool. They still have their lasting effects, especially like because NetherRealm, they're so good at the nostalgia that there'll be brutalities that reference old fatalities or whatever, or quotes, whatever. I love all that stuff, as many of us do. But I tell you what, I also love our surprise 3-0s. And even though I know Titanium Tigers is a really strong player, I didn't see this being 3-0. I think Biohazard trying out a new pick, because I'd say new character. I know he played a bunch of Nightwolf when Nightwolf first came out, but that was a long time ago. We're talking like probably over a year by now. So definitely a character I think Biohazard has been enjoying recently, but hasn't got that same effort into. But regardless, still stuck within tournament, right? And Biohazard, he plays so many different characters. Him picking up a new character doesn't automatically mean, oh, well, it's going to be a free win. Like literally Biohazard could random select and you'd still have to think he's got a plan. You know what I mean? So definitely a good win for Titanium Tigers to get in the end, and he gets that match against the Mighty Unjust. So if he can take out Biohazard and then the Mighty Unjust back to back, that is basically him taking out, I would say, the two most kind of established names in the North American Open Series, and to get through that to winners finals, where if he fights Ice Scorpion, let's say Ice Scorpion continues his reign of terror and ends up in winners finals, that could mean that Titanium Tigers is basically having like the ultimate path through Open Series to take out all of the strongest players and then win. Can you imagine if that happens?
If anybody makes that bracket run, that is, you deserve that win more than anybody has ever deserved to win. I'm just gonna say right now, because that was
like just give him the money of top 4 and be done with it. You know, that's fine. It doesn't get more impressive than that. But that does mean we are finished for our first round of winners matches. We got there in the end. We had some really good games, and we will continue to have more as we progress through this bracket. But as always, we are going to go to a short break while we set those matches up. So don't go anywhere. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you in a few minutes when we come right back with our next games.
The PS4 Tournament's Open Series has been full of fantastic finishes, killer combos, and a friendship or two.
I would not trust his ability to cook anything.
We've seen promising new players and household names continue to dominate.
Oh my you God. Animal. Oh dear! Oh.
Do not miss a single moment of the PS4 Tournament's Open Series monthly finals.
PlayStation.
This is the Mortal Kombat character breakdown for Kano, the leader of the Black Dragon clan, and isn't afraid to fight dirty to secure the win, as is reflected in his gameplay. Kano is a solid character with a disrespectful and aggressive playstyle across all of his variations. It's all about finding which style suits you the best. Universally, Kano only has a few special moves, Knife Toss and Black Dragon Ball. However, the Black Dragon Ball can be done in the air and has a different attack follow-up whether you amp it on the ground or in the air, making it a quick check for opponents that need to respect it. Ripper is the main variation that sees play and has scary offensive tools due to the command grab and extended strings. The command grab gives Kano powerful mix-ups, and the extended strings add more damage to his overhead and turns his standing 2-4 string into a launcher. This variation is for the player that wants to shred their opponent with mix-ups. Dirtbag is unorthodox but powerful in the hands of a skilled player. This variation gains Acid Toss and Molotov Cocktail, which synergize well together as acid-covered players get stunned if they stand in the Molotov flames. And Veggie Mighty, a buff which gives a hit of projectile armor to his Black Dragon Ball. The game plan for Dirtbag is to counter zone with Veggie Mighty and enforce pressure with the acid, particularly around amplified acid, which creates flames near the opponent which can be deadly in the corner for unavoidable damage. Ratbag is the most traditional Kano, gaining Snake Bite, a strong launcher, and Optic Blast, a mid-projectile that replaces Knife Toss and does more damage with a counter-hit crushing blow. This variation plays around Kano's long-range buttons and is particularly good for whiff punishing and conversions. Kano is capable of being played in multiple ways, and his universal buttons and crushing blows all cater to them well. It's about trying them all to find which one fits you the best to make use of this Black Dragon scumbag.
PlayStation.
The PS4 Tournament's Open Series has been full of fantastic finishes, killer combos, and a friendship or two.
I would not trust his ability to cook anything.
We've seen promising new players and household names continue to dominate.
Oh my you God. Animal. Oh dear! Oh.
Do not miss a single moment of the PS4 Tournament's Open Series monthly final.